Well, I appreciate you guys showing up this morning for this Blissful Flow class. We are in a series based on koshas. And the koshas are the layers, sheets, casings, coverings of our being. So it kind of translates to all those different type of English terms. When you study this topic, oftentimes it's compared to being like Russian wooden stackable dolls. And someone gifted me this one. And so I thought I would bring it in. So I'm sure you've seen these dolls before. This would represent the outermost layer, the first layer. We talked about this a number of weeks ago. It's the Annamaya Kosha, and it represents the physical body, physical anatomy, that which is tangible, touchable, what we see as part of our reality. And then underneath that layer, which is the gross layer, the most dense layer, we start to get more subtle. And the second layer is considered the Crocodile Kosha, which is all about the breath, all about the energetic layer. And I described that week that we discussed this topic that Reiki, acupuncture, homeopathy, these sort of things work at the vital life force level. When you go more subtle than that, now we have the third layer, which is a little bit more subtle than the energetic or breath body, which is the mind. It's the Manomaya Kosha. And it's all the mental chatter, it's all the mind stuff. It's images and visions and insights and thoughts and feelings and imagination, daydreaming, fantasy, reflection on the past, and even the dreams that we have at night when we're sleeping. So we're very aware of this layer of the mind. But more subtle than that, we get into the next layer. And this particular layer is the one we're talking about this week. And so within the mind, we have another subtle layer. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the Sanskrit term because I'm going to butcher it. But basically, it translates to mean the layer of discernment. It's the layer of higher wisdom. It's the layer of higher consciousness. It's the layer of our intuitive guidance. So we know that we have a lot of mental chatter kind of going on all the time. In fact, science says 90% of our thoughts are on repeat every day. And they create such deep grooves and habitual patterns neurologically that it's up to us to break through, to discover through our inner awareness whether or not those thoughts are helpful or hurtful, useful or useless, right? Just like we were talking about in this conversation before we started this practice. So it's that layer of discovering for yourself what is best, what is the best choice, whether something is good or bad, whether something is right or wrong. So that's the layer we're talking about this week. Next week, we'll talk about another layer, but I'm going to say that one. So this is all about the mind, the intuitive mind. So when we're practicing our yoga, when we're dropping into the body and doing these physical exercises, we're really working with the outermost dense layer. We're trying to dispel the stress, the tension. We're trying to get the energy flowing at the second level. And we're also more able to notice what is occurring in the mind right now. And then we're able to move into that layer of discernment to decide, should I be doing this pose or not? Is my body ready for this today or not? And at least that's for the physical practice. And then that will eventually translate off the mat, and then we'll be able to be more into this realm whenever we're making other conscious choices. If you look at the Yoga Sutras, when it talks about the yamas and the niyamas, or the 8-month path of yoga, the moral ethical code is about the layer that we're on today. It's using that as kind of a guideline on how should I conduct myself, how should I be with myself, but also how should I conduct myself with others and out in society. So if you haven't studied the Yoga Sutras, that moral ethical code, or if you do already know about it, that would fall under this particular layer. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start in a passive crocodile pose. And it looks like this, where you're on your abdomen with your feet apart, with your arms crossed, your chest propped up, and then lowering your head down. You're propping your chest up so that you have this tunnel or breezeway beneath your face where you can still easily access your breath. But before we start to pay attention to the breath, I want you to first pay attention to your physical form. If you're feeling a little tight through the low back, maybe try spreading the feet a little wider. Maybe shimmying or rocking your hips gently side to side. And then just notice how heavy it is to be on the lower portion of the belly, the pubic bone, on the frontal part of the thighs, and maybe just a little light pressure on the tops of the feet. Let your muscles soften, your bones get heavy. Even feel the weight coming down where you're penetrating your brow, the third eye point. There is a marma or acupressure point here that when activated and stimulated, it helps to create a state of inner calm and peace to the mind. If we're trapped in that third layer of just the mind stuff, we're more apt to react. But when we go into the fourth layer, to the layer of discernment, we can be more apt to respond in a responsible way. So now begin to control your breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Doing so in a more conscious way, in a more deliberate way. Increasing and lengthening the in-breath. Pouring out and elongating the out-breath. Yoga is a spiritual practice that goes beyond the mind and body. And any kind of spiritual food is going to be nourishment for this particular kosha or layer. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and lift the face up. Slide your hands up underneath your shoulders. Glide the feet closer together, more parallel. Push up to all fours. And then exhale, keep your hands super glued to the mat. Rock your hips back towards your heels. Let your elbows be picked up away from the floor to stretch the underside of the arms as well as to bring traction to the spine. And before we move on from this position, feel free to invite an affirmation in, a statement of higher truth, that our prayer is for all of mankind to live in harmony and in peace. On your next inhale, go ahead and gently lift the face back up. You're going to walk and travel your hands off to the wood floor to the right side of the mat. You're really stretching off to the side with your upper body. Bowing back over your lap, the head can touch down or it may need to hover. Either way is perfectly fine. But accentuate that stretch on the left side and breathe into your left lung. So on your next inhale, gently lift up, travel the hands across the sticky mat, off and away to the left side, onto the coolness of the wood floor, and then gently lower. Really emphasize putting the breath into the right lung. Maybe even feeling that side of the body start to balloon up. And as it deflates, rocking back down. Remember that the conscious control of the breath has a direct effect on both the mind and the body, the layer above and the layer below, the denser as well as the more subtle. On your next inhale, gently lift up, travel the hands back to shoulder distance apart on the mat, coming up to hands and knees, curling the toes, rock and roll back to downward facing dog. Now from your downward facing dog, you're lengthening up and out of your wrists, up and out through your seat. Let your head bow between the upper arms. The eyes can be open or closed, but magnify the breath. Feel free to walk out the dog if you want to stretch out the calf muscles. Remembering that any inversion is a natural calming agent for the mind, which will help us to get into this fourth layer of discernment. Affirming here as you hold, calmness radiates throughout every fiber of my being. On your next inhale, travel the feet all the way to the front side of the mat. Once your feet have landed side by side, hinge from your hips. Let the upper body go. Let your head go. And then notice your knees may be slightly soft here. Feel free to allow that to occur, as this is the first really deep stretch we've received to the back of the body. Try not to prohibit the spine from lengthening down by locking your arms. Let your arms be loose. Feel as though there's a magnet at your heart center and a magnet down at your knees. And the two are trying to join. No intention to touch, just creating that little extra effort. On your next in-breath, root down to the soles of the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. Place your palms together to upward worship. Ground down through the soles of the feet. Pick up through the navel. And then exhale, hands come down the midline, right through center as you forward fold into Uttanasana. Now holding your Uttanasana, we're going to inhale, lift halfway up. Hands can slide up to the shins if necessary. Shoulders crank back from the ears. Exhale, take it to Chaturanga. So you're stepping to plank and lowering, or of course you can float back. Inhale, rise to upward facing dog. As we exhale, we're coming down. All the way down to the belly, down to the brow. Now, the hands are going to come rest on the sacral area. Your legs are going to shoot back, feet tapping the floor. Inhale, lift your right hand, lift your head and chest, swim that right arm out in front. And then as you exhale, bring the right hand back and lower to the face. Inhale, left side, coming up like a half locust. And exhale, release. Continue to strengthen your back here. Alternating limbs. Using your breath as a way to initiate a complete movement. One more to the left. Once you come back down to the brow, slip your hands back underneath the head of the shoulder bones. Curl the toes under, pluck the knees off the floor. Squeeze the elbows in towards your side body. Push straight up plank, which I know can be challenging. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now from your Adho Mukha Svanasana, if your feet are wide apart, bring the big toes a little closer together so there's just a few inches there. Inhale, lift your right leg halfway up. When you lift it halfway up, ground your hands,
Push back away from your wrist. Lift up and out through your right heel. Eka Pada Adho Mukha Svanasana. And as you exhale, step the right foot all the way forward and out between your hands. Give yourself assistance if it doesn't want to come all the way. Inhale, we're coming up to crescent lunge. When you rise to crescent lunge, you're making sure the front knee's aligned over the ankle, pulling up through the side strips of the body. Now exhale, the hands are going to come to prayer position at your heart, and you're slowly going to lower and drop the back knee. Good, once you do that, inhale, we're pressing into the right foot, lifting the arms back up, slowly picking the back knee up, rising back to crescent. Exhale, fan the arms away, plant the palms, step into your plank. Exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, roll down to the belly and brow. Hands to the sacrum. Legs scoot a little closer together. Lengthen through the leg bones, tighten through the buttocks. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, back stroke the arm. Inhale, left arm forward. And exhale, release. Continue as you breathe. So yesterday was the first day of spring. And it also initiated the season of Aries. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac wheel here in the West. We're going to be building up to wheel pose today. Now slip your hands back up underneath the head of the shoulder bones, curl your toes under, put the knees off the floor, press through your palms, gain strength as you build up. Good, exhale, downward facing dog. Narrow that space between the big toes. Reset. Inhale, left leg lifts, halfway up. So when I say halfway up, we're trying to keep the sacrum even. We're trying to keep the shoulders level and the hips level. When you're ready, step the left foot all the way through. Slowly come up, crescent lunge. Lifting the arms overhead, palms face each other. Find a drishti point or focal point for your eyes. Exhale, hands together. Slowly drop the back knee. Inhale, lift it up. Arms first, back thigh next. Good. Exhale, hands fan out and lower to the floor. Spring the back foot forward. Lengthen through the vertebrae. Exhale, bow out. Let the crown of the head face the floor if possible. And bring some replenishment to the face. Inhale, root down to come all the way up. Upward worship at the top. Exhale, hands to Samasthiti next. All right, second flow. Inhaling. Expand and open up. Exhale, hands stay together as you fold through the middle. Inhale, create some distance and space between the two halves. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, so you can float right back or you can step back and drop. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, we're coming down to the belly. We're going to stack the fingertips onto the wood floor. We're going to lengthen the legs back, point through the toes. Keep the elbows flying up towards the ceiling. Inhale, slowly come up. So it's like a wide-necked king cobra. And then as you exhale, slowly come back to the forehead. Do that a couple more rounds. Inhale, rising. Exhale, lower. Stay with your breath, doing a little repetition. Hands slip back underneath the head of the shoulder bones, curl the toes under. When you're ready, lift to plank. If you need to come to tabletop first, that's okay. Exhale, down dog. Walk the feet a little closer. Inhale, the left leg's gonna be on the rise. This time, point your toes on the top foot and scissor the leg up, meaning that you can open up that left hip. When you're ready, swing that left leg through, planting the sole of the foot, turn and plant your back foot to the floor. Now, this is really important before we cross the hands over. You don't want that knee to cave in. So keep that knee aligned where it's pointed towards the center of the foot, thigh rolling away from your waist. Bring the left hand over to the inside. The right hand is an offshoot of the right hip. It's the same type of arms that we used in that King Cobra, resting on the finger pads, elbows splayed, and then we're crouching a little lower. You got it. Keep opening that left thigh. You got it. Breathe. When you're ready, slowly pivot the back foot. Reframe the front foot with your hands. Step back plank. Exhale, chaturanga, low push-up. Inhale, up dog. And this is where we're going back to the King Cobra. So lower down, point the toes, ground the fingers, fly up with the elbows. Now that you're set up, inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower. Couple more. Notice if your feet want to wiggle or turn. Try to keep them established. Affirming, I rise joyfully to greet each and every new opportunity. Exhale, still down. Hands solidify. Curl the toes. When you're ready, plank or table. Exhale, downward facing dog. Check in with your feet. My feet always want to move. Yours may not. Inhale, right leg lifts. Scissor the leg higher, higher, higher if possible. See if you can feel and experience that stretch through the inner left thigh. When you're ready, swing that foot through. Ground your back foot. Now this is what we want to make sure is not getting loosey-goosey. So we really want to externally rotate the right thigh. Keep that knee established over the ankle, grounding through the mound of the big toe. Then set up your hands, set up your arms, and drop about halfway towards the floor if you can. Breathe into that right hip. You're ready to spin out. Face the front. We're going to bring the back foot now to join the right, lifting halfway up upon arrival, and then exhale, let go. Inhale, upward worship. Exhale, Saraswati. All right, another flow. Inhale. Think about gathering your attitude of gratitude for all that you have, all that you are. Exhale, bring it down through your center. Separating the hands as you continue to bow over. Inhale, lift and lengthen out. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, however you want to arrive. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, we're coming back down to the belly. This time, zip the legs and the feet as close together as possible. Maybe even gluing them together and resting on the brow. Your hands are going to lift and they're going to stay elevated off the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale down to the brow. Continue. Hands down, toes curl, knees up. Use your core strength and upper body strength to resist gravity. Good, exhale, downward facing dog. Once you re-arrive in the downward facing dog, let the head hang between the upper arm bone. Let's all take a cleansing breath since we're face down. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. When you're ready, inhale, right leg lifts. Scissor up, bend the knee, take downward scorpion. So that right knee is bent and turning up towards the ceiling. When you're ready, unroll the hip. Take that right foot all the way forward and up between the hands. Now we're gonna challenge ourselves here. I'm asking you to challenge yourself, but if you need blocks, use blocks. If you need hands, use hands, okay? Because this is the layer we're working with. The layer of discernment, the layer of higher wisdom. You know your body better than anyone. Press down through your back heel, push down through the right foot, and come up to stand. All right, so we're gonna try a flow without our hands. Again, you can use them if you need to. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, we're folding over the front leg, but we're gonna take the arms to reach towards the back wall. So it's a variation of pyramid. Squeeze that right hip in, it's widening out. Inhale, lift halfway up, reach the arms in front of you. Bend the front knee, spin off the back heel, lower the back knee. You got it, untuck the back toes. Inhale, lift. Good, exhale, lean forward over the front thigh, curl the back toes under again. Slowly straighten out the front leg, reach the arms towards the back wall. Half Hanukkah. Again, use your hands if you need to. Come back to the sole of the foot. Reach the arms in front of you, lift the back knee, turn and plant your back heel, come back up to stand. Good, exhale, fold over, stretch the arms towards the back wall, squeeze the right hip in. Inhale, arms reach out, front knee lunges, turn off the back heel, drop the knee, untuck the toes, inhale, rise. Good, exhale, lean forward, curl the back toes under, straighten the front leg, reach the arms back behind. Good, inhale, come through, lift the back knee, plant the back foot, push through the ball of the front foot, rise up. One more, exhale, lean forward, stretch over the front leg, pyramid. Inhale, arms out, chest halfway up, lunge the knee. Drop to the back knee, untuck the toes, Anjaneyasana. Good, come forward, curl the back toes, stretch out through the front leg, half split. All right, from here, drop the sole of the foot, bring the hands down, step into plank. That's kind of fun, isn't it? Thank Instagram for that one. All right, when you're ready, rock forward, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, lower to the brow. All right, legs together, toes together, hands hover. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, spill back down. 2 more times. Last one. Exhale, hands down, brow down. Curl the toes, lift the knees, push up, plank. Exhale, down dog. All right, we got that fun flow. Trying without the use of hands. So that requires awareness and work through the lower body, through the hips to the core. But please use that layer of higher wisdom. If you struggle with balance, use your hands, use the blocks, give yourself permission. Inhale, left leg lifts. Scissor it up. Bend the knee. Strike scorpion. Unroll. Take that foot through. Plant the back foot down.
When you're ready, coming up. When you're ready, exhale, fold. Arms reach back, unless you need the hands. Inhale, lift halfway up, arms in front, lunge the knee, pivot off the back heel. Good, come forward again, and then take it back, half, split. When you're ready, come through, lift the back knee, pivot down with the back heel, come on up to stand. Exhale, hinge forward, hold over, arms reach back. Inhale, arms in front, lower the back knee. Inhale, half lunge. Come forward, curl the toes, take half split. All right, one more. I think you know what to do at this point. It's not freestyle. Hands down as you solidify the left foot. You're ready. Back foot's gonna step through to the top, Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale, release. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, we're gonna start bringing it down to the floor again, but before we do that, close the eyes. Slow down the heart rate and breath rate. Affirming as you hold, salutations to the sun, to the awakening light within us all, to the dawning of a much higher state of consciousness in all beings. That's talking about everyone arriving and being aware of this more subtle state of mind. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. In and halfway up. Out to chaturanga. You can step through plank first. You don't have to bounce back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, up dog. I'm keeping the knees down. Exhale, child's pose. One more. All right, now we're going to try the bow pose. So when you come forward and rock the hips down like up dog, you're going to slowly come on down to the belly, down to the base ribs, as well as to your forehead. Your heels are going to kick in towards your glutes, and you're going to take the time to wrap one hand around to find one ankle, and then you'll cross over to the other side. The first thing I want you to do is keep your forehead down once you have a hold of your feet, and lift just your thighs up. Now lower your thighs. Inhale, lift head, shoulders, chest. All right, so if you need one of those variations, you can just strike one. If you want to try to incorporate both, you can lift head, shoulders, chest, as well as both thighs. Good. Breathe. Exhale, slow down. Hands line under the shoulders. Push up to table. Take a calf stretch. Pulling that navel in, hiding that heart away. And relax the back. Oh shoot. All of you were wise enough to grab a block. I didn't have any, Amanda, so grab one of Cindy's. And can I grab one of yours? Thank you. I meant
Coming now to the back. Your arms are gonna be set up beside your hips. We're gonna do well, it's kind of similar to abdominal breath flow. Heels aligned underneath the knees, press down through the soles of the feet, circle the arms overhead, lift thighs, hips, abs, and chest. Exhale, when you roll down, the arms are coming along to the right, but when the sacrum touches, you're lifting your head and your feet, curling in like a cannonball ball. And then the feet land, the arms circle back overhead. You rise up, Bandhasana. Exhale, roll it down, one vertebra at a time, cannonball. Continue this flow. Inhale, stretching open the front of the body while strengthening the back of the body. As you exhale, you're strengthening your core, stretching your spine. All right, the next time you curl in like a cannonball, just lower the head and feet. Grab that block. And remember, the block turns 3 different heights: low, medium, and tall. So probably medium will be your best bet, but you can also go to the taller form. So press down, tuck the tailbone, slide that block under the sacrum. So we're going to come into one of the elephant poses. So pick up the right foot. Point the toes. So notice when you're pointing the toes up, how it stretches the front of the foot and how the toes somewhat glue together. That's called plantar flexion. Now push up through the heel of the foot, drop the toes and spread them. This is called dorsiflexion. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex that ankle. Do it once more. Now from this dorsiflexion, keep the heel up, splay the toes, but also equally push up through the ball of the foot. So it's kind of a blend between the two. As you exhale, let the right leg circle off to the right side, let it dip down towards the front of your mat, and inhale, snap it right back up to the top. Exhale, circle it off to the right, dip it down towards the floor, inhale back up. Do that one more time. And exhale, release. Pause for a moment. Inhale, left leg next. Float that left foot up, point the toes. Feel what you're gaining here. Even feel the work of the muscles connecting to your shin. All right, now flex through the ankle. Feel that stretch through your calf muscles, hamstrings. Inhale, point. Exhale, dorsiflexion. One more. And then create that blend of action in the foot. Circle that left leg off to the left side, dip it down, inhale, lift it up. Continue that flow. We're doing it at least 3 times. And then we're going to lower the left foot down. All right, from here, we're going to tuck the tailbone, lift off the block, slide the block away. Keep your hips elevated though, because now we're going to tuck one shoulder at a time under the body and see if we can lace the hands and press the pinky fingers down towards the floor. If you can't quite rock the shoulders under enough to lace the hands, don't worry, tuck them under as much as possible, and let the hands be flat to the floor. Breathe high up into your chest. See if you can lift your chest towards your chin. See if you can keep your knees narrow. Now, if you feel ready for your wheel, you can flip the hands over the shoulders, press down through your palms, and push up where your head is hovering. If you're not ready for wheel, trust your intuitive guidance. Don't push it. Slowly lower the back of the head. Slowly lower down one vertebra at a time and hug the knees in. Once you hug the knees in, you're going to roll away to your right side. You're going to come up and we're going to lift to stand. Okay? We're building up for something. If you were here with me last Monday, we're building up for the same pose. So ground your left foot. Right, or both your hands, right, your hips. Your right foot is halfway off the floor. We're going towards Padangusthasana D. Now, if you were to point the toes and just lift the leg, you would only get so far. What we're going to do is bend the knee and lift the leg, and then extend it out in front. And it may still drop, that's okay. From Padangusthasana D, flex the knee. Left hand crosses to the knee. Right hand stretches behind the back. And maybe pivot the neck and gaze off to the right. Good. Release the right arm and foot. All right, so just experiment with me. Left toes point forward. Lift the leg. Tap the foot down. Bend the knee, lift it up. Now extend the leg. Hopefully you can get a little higher. Rebend the knee. Cross the right hand to it. Left arm carries off behind you. It's so hard to gaze towards a painted wall when you're this close. If you're really close to a wall at the back of the room, you may want to look elsewhere. And release. All right, we're going to need a wall. And please know, we're all about this layer of discernment and higher wisdom to tell us if we're ready for this or not. Okay? We're going to take the mat. So last week we did a lot of camel poses, and we were building up for this pose, and it was something brand new to me, and I think brand new to you as well. So again, don't feel like you have to do anything, but it's fun to experiment with new ways to get in and out of poses. It's fun to explore things we've never done before. And so what we're going to be doing is coming down to our backs. Taking a moment here. Flipping the hands over. Coming up to wheel. Using the feet to go up the wall. And then flipping over. You don't have to flip over. Some people will take it into a handstand. I just like to kick over. And if you're scared to do that, I understand. But if you are, like most women, our strength is in the legs instead of the upper arms. So if you trust your legs to walk up the wall and to take you over, then you can try it. If it's too scary, you're going to do this. Legs at the wall. Feet lower. Come up, catch your hips, and at least get this variation of shoulder stand in. And if you'd rather just like, I just want to be here. Just be here. It works as an inversion too. So take a moment when you're on your back, right? So we've been working through the physical layer. We've been working with the breath. You've noticed hopefully the mind chatter. And hopefully you've been able to drop into that layer of more wisdom or intuitive knowing. So yes, do the inversion that suits you and your ability and what's possible today. And if you don't normally do wheel, I don't want you to try the flip over, right? Because you have to be aware and strong enough in your upper body when the legs kick over. I love that you're choosing your shoulder stands and your simple legs up the wall, and you're being honest with yourself, and you're being true to your intuition. Hold it for like, I don't know, 7 to 11 breaths. And when you're ready to exit, if you're in shoulder stand, you can walk the feet down, have the knees bent, you can contract your core, beautiful. Take it down slowly and mindfully. And then go ahead and just sail the legs up the wall. If you would rather do corpse pose for Shavasana, you can align yourself in that position instead. If you want to use a bolster, feel free to utilize one of those. So for those of you that may not be aware of the yamas and the niyamas, I go through them briefly. Do no harm, do not steal, don't be greedy, learn how to let go, be content, practice purity, be disciplined, be studious, self-reflect, and be devoted. So one of the best practices we can do for this particular kosha or layer is meditation. Because meditation helps with mental clarity, it helps to lessen judgments, and it helps us to receive greater intuitive insights. So meditation will strengthen your connection to the subtle layer of your being. For the remainder of the time here, I want you to just take rest. And I want you to just breathe. And I want you to move through the mental chatter. Any of those thought waves that come through, let them pass. Drop into the space in between the thoughts. In this space is where you become more heightened in your awareness. You determine whether or not that previous or next thoughts, helpful or hurtful, useful or useless. Next out breath, slide the feet down the wall. Just with the knees, draw in, the feet be flat to that surface. And if you're on your back in corpse pose, hug your knees in. Gently roll away to one side of your body. Take the arm up underneath the ear, pause. Slowly press it up, take a seat. Sitting with the spine erect, the palms open, eyes closed. Bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. May we all remember this fourth kosha, this fourth layer of our being. Our intuitive knowing, layer of discernment in the mind. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.